Today's video, we're going to talk about pest control PPC or PPC management, how to generate leads all day long for $75 each. Even termite leads, which are the grand Mac Daddy type of leads, obviously, to get in this space. You can generate them for $75 each with the plan that I have for you in today's video. There's a bunch of other types of leads you can generate too as well, obviously. Bee removal leads, wasp removal leads, mice removal leads, which are great, by the way. And I'm going to talk about not only how much you're going to pay for each lead, but how to replicate this exact cost per lead for yourself, and not just from the basics, Google ads, running ads on Google, doing this. Yes, that is absolutely a gold mine, but also running ads on YouTube, running ads on Google as well, but when people are looking for information, searching for how to get rid of bed bugs, how to get rid of mice, and then monetizing these people, which basically nobody else, as far as I know, on YouTube or elsewhere online, is going to be able to tell you how to do that, because it takes an advanced level marketer to do this, of which I'm going to tell you the exact system we're using for it. If you want to get leads literally all day long, you have to go through the whole plan, even though you can make some nice money on Google search by itself. But you got to understand how to run Google ads correctly to get the kind of results I'm talking about. $75 a lead. Otherwise, you're going to be paying $200, $300, $400 a lead. And it's really not that profitable at that point in time. Google set up the system to make sure 20% of the people that advertise on Google make all the money. If you're not in the 20%, you make nothing. They set it up that way for a reason, because they don't need you. They've got their current people that they know help their users at the highest level. They want them to stay there, and that's how it is. And you can break in as long as you do better than them, of which I guarantee you will do if you follow these instructions. So with that said, getting into it. Now, there's two main categories of the ways that you're going to advertise your pest control company to generate leads, quote unquote, all day long. You got your basic buying terms on Google Ads, people typing in pest control services, pest control near me. And then also you got people looking for information about pest control, basically you're tapping into people who want to know how to fix it themselves, or in general, want to know how to fix it, because there's a bunch of people, before they come to the conclusion they're going to hire an exterminator, they go on and they search for how to get rid of mice, how to get rid of bed bugs. These are the real people that you're after, and you can get in front of them before any of your competitors do. As long as you have a good piece of bait for them, you will get them before anybody else. With that said, generally, you start out with this, and then you go into this, because this takes some more finesse to get dialed in just right, whereas with this, you can make it work right away, even though the cost per lead is not going to be this low right away, because you have no reputation with Google, but basically the formula is consistent. You don't have to tinker with the sales process. These people are calling and they're ready to buy. Whereas with this, if you got to build an actual sales process to take somebody who's kind of lukewarm as far as a lead goes, and then you got to be able to monetize it. And a lot of companies don't do this type of marketing because they don't want to screw around with that. They'd rather pay more for a lead and get somebody that's a lay down, knock down prospect than get somebody who's lukewarm that they can get for a lot cheaper, which is basically what it is. With that, Google search campaigns targeting buying terms, pest control companies, pest control services, like that. Here's the basic spread of what you could pay per lead if you do things the way that I'm talking about. And for the most part, to generate these costs per leads, you got to ignore everything you heard about Google ads up to this point, because 95% of the crap that you hear online about Google ads, it's exactly what I said. It's bull crap. Why? Because you got people, that agencies putting out information like this, who do not have a stake in the game that you're playing, which is they want your money to manage your ads, and if you don't get any results, they won't pay it anyway. They want all the money up front. Everybody's probably shaking their head yes to this, and they want to tell you it's easy so that they have to do almost no work and can get your money and keep it all for themselves. Our firm has to guarantee results until before we get paid, and if we don't get you the results we're talking about, there's no pay on our end. You know that what I'm saying here is what is realistic, and then even with that, as good as I am at this, doing strategy for clients, it still takes time to get results. You have to set it up right, and then you got to let Google's system realize it's good, better than the competition, and then they're going to grant you a very low cost per click, and then you make these kind of numbers, of which you could go into Google Keyword Planner and see how the spread of the cost per click is going to be. So when I start advertising, I don't care if I have the best ad on the planet, I'm going to be paying $30 a click roughly at the beginning or more. Whereas if I do a great job, Google sees it, I could pay as little as $5 a click. And that difference in whether you're paying $35 a click or $5 a click is where your profit is. So it does not pay to not set up your ads right, because you're going to be paying $35 a click forever. And that's not where the profit is. So you have to be paying on the low end of the range to get these costs per leads. What do you do to get there? You set up unique ads for every location in your city and every keyword that you're targeting. So that when they're searching for bird control Arlington, you have an ad that says bird control Arlington, #1 bird control specialist in Arlington. So they know without having to click on anything, this is your specialty or one of your specialties, and you cover their area in Arlington, because they really only need to know 3 things right up front. They need to know, can you do it? Do you cover their area? Can they trust you? Of course, on the ad, you also try to squeeze in there how long you've been in business, or A+ BB rated works well because the older people have the money still, and that's what they remember and trust, and that's what you go with. Or if you can't do that, you say what your reviews are like on Google and so forth. That's your formula. Then you take them to a page that it's not your homepage, it's not just a regular landing page. It talks about if they were looking for a bird control specialist in Arlington, your landing page talks about bird control in Arlington. At the very, very least, if not, the headline on the landing page literally says bird control specialist in Arlington, if that's what the ad said. That actually gets you the best results of all. And if you go to 99 different PPC management companies and you ask them if you need to do this, they're going to say, oh, no. You don't need to do that. Google's way smarter than that now. You don't need to do that. I've challenged these other people. I bet them $10,000. If you could set up an ad without doing that and beat my results, I'll give you 10 grand. Nobody wants to challenge me on that. It's a fugazi. They want to have you believe that it's not hard because they're catering to the part of the market that wants to believe it's easy. Therefore, I don't have to pay them much. And it's going to be good because you're not paying them very much. In reality, when it comes to PPC management, you either do right or it's worthless. It's not like one of those things where you can get a deal and everything is hunky-dory. Either crush your competitors or you're not going to make money. Period. So just don't even do it if you're not going to go through all the way with it. Or get used to making a negative ROI to keep your guys busy and settle for that. If that's what you want. But that's your basic formula there. It's not rocket science. Will you put the work in to do it? And then with that, of course, you have to have a landing page that has good aesthetics on it, designed well, laid out well, ideally put together by somebody who's put together hundreds of landing pages and knows exactly what they're doing, and ideally a pest control page that produces between 25% conversion rate to 40% conversion rates. That is, the rate in which they turn into a lead is at that level itself, because then you're going to be in the money. And most people will say, oh, that's not possible. Oh, you can't do that. Whatever. I've seen it. I've done it. You can get that. Don't settle for less. If you're going to spend all this money on ads, going to the market with a crappy landing page that isn't going to convert that well. And of course, at the beginning, it's not going to convert well like that because Google, guess what? They're going to send you the crappy traffic at the beginning when you're an unproven advertiser. You got to prove to them that you're worthy of being in the top spot and getting the best traffic. Then they'll send you the best traffic. Then you can convert at that level. At the beginning, they're going to send you the bottom of the barrel traffic that even though they're typing in pest control near me, they know, okay, this person is an old lady who's broke. She's on pension. She has no money. Let's send it to this new guy. And then the established guy who's making millions, he consistently gets the middle-aged guy who has a 6-figure income and just wants it done already. And he's making all the money. You got to pay to play. You got to get some data. And then all this starts to happen. So how long does it take to get to these numbers? It's going to take 6 to 12 months at least to get to these numbers, if not 18 to 24 months to fully get these locked in. It depends on how much money you have to spend up front. If you only have $3 grand a month to get it going, it can easily take 12 months or a little longer to get to these final numbers, ultimately. If you have 10 grand a month to spend, you can get there in 6 months because it's not about time in, it's about the amount of data you need to acquire, so to say. And of course, it depends on how good of a job, how skilled you are at making ad copy to making landing pages. Landing pages, by the way, is 60-70% of the equation. That's where the money's made because that's where you get a 35% rate of people turning into a lead from a click versus 7% because the person made your landing page didn't know what the hell they were doing. They could make a landing page, but did they make one that could sell? No. And if they did, they wouldn't be selling it for $500. So those are your numbers you can get to. Now, I know 12 months sounds like a long time, but in the grand scheme of things, if it took 2 months to get to these numbers, which is in the money, everybody and their dog would be doing it already. You can look at it like, oh, I don't want to wait that long, or I should expect to get it faster. When you're in the money with this, anybody else who tries to screw with your money isn't going to be able to get it so damn easily. I like it like this so that when I get it, nobody else is going to mess with my revenue. And I'm going to be making literally millions of dollars a year in profitable sales once this is going in my market already. So of course it's going to take a little cash to get that going. If it didn't, it wouldn't be worth anything. I'm going to invest what I can afford to invest up front and lose money at it until I've built up enough data to get it working. And then whatever I make year 3 per month is going to pay for what I invested up front to get it. When I've scaled it up and I'm spending 15 grand a month versus 3, and that's the way that it rolls. Because frankly, Google has probably in your market 10 to 20 people to pick from to advertise to. There's 4 spots at the top of Google. They can decide if your ad shows or somebody else's, and they're going to know the other guy's ads better than yours at the beginning, and you get the worst traffic like I was mentioning before. The only thing you can do, set it up as good as possible so that when Google does evaluate you and tries to compare you to the competition, they see you're better and they want to give you everything, because at that point, it'll pay for anything you had to invest up front to get it. Otherwise, it doesn't pay for itself and you're wasting your time and there's no point. What people tend to do though, is they try to say, if I invest a little bit into it, that's fine, because if it doesn't work, I won't be out a lot. But that's a waste. It's not going to work if you do a little bit. You have to do it all the way right, or Google doesn't care about you. This isn't like a system where everybody makes money and we all work together like this is a commune here. Either crush your competition or it's worthless. Ultimately, pest control keywords generic. So like pest control near me, pest control services like that. $75 a lead is what you can get to with that kind of model. Exterminator services near me and the like, $80 a lead is what we got. Ant control services, $60 a lead for that type of keyword. Spider control services, $30 a lead. Bee removal services, $25 a lead. So if you want cheaper leads, you can go after more of these fringe services, by the way, which will also convert better, but they have way less volume. The lazy pest control company is going to go after these generic terms because it's obvious and it's easy. Nobody wants to go ahead and set up a unique sales funnel for spider removal. So therefore, your ROI is going to be a lot better. Can it bring in what pest control keywords do? No, it'll bring in 5% of that. But it adds up when you start doing dedicated funnels for each pest type. Wasp removal, $60 a lead. Gopher removal, $55 a lead. Mice removal, $100 a lead. Bed bug removal, $80 a lead. This is a gold mine. Termite removal, $75 a lead. Another gold mine. I like to focus on bed bugs and termites the most because it's not nearly as competitive and the job sizes are pretty damn big. Bird removal, $35 a lead. Almost nobody does that. Commercial pest control, $195 a lead. Bigger job size there, so therefore you're going to pay more. May not be worth it for you to do that. And your return on investment doesn't come in for a while because you have to have that contract and then you got to have to service that client for a while to make the lead pay off. And you're not going to make it on the first or second month. You're going to get it on 6th or 12th, like on the 12th month, basically. You may not want to do that, but there's a ton of money in it because your competitors are not, they want it now. They want the return now. And they're not going to wait 12 months to get a return. So you do it knowing that once the 12-month point hits, the money from the first clicks I'm paying for will pay off. And then I'm in it now. I'm in the money. So that is kind of like what you should pay if you've done it right. Like I mentioned, you either figured out how to set up the ads and landing pages better than your competition, and you've made them for different pests and so forth, which the user wants to see from you, and therefore Google wants to see from you, or you didn't. There's your formula. There's no secret, if you will. Can you help the user more than the competition is right now in your market? If you can, you will crush them. That's where all the money is. Google doesn't want everybody to make money. They want 20% to make money, so they encourage those people to stay around. Everybody else, if you'll take their stinky traffic, they'll give it to you. If you want to leave because you don't like it, sayonara, they don't care. Why? Because there'll be another sucker coming in next week taking your place. So there's really no winning at this, doing it with a half approach. Now, you may say this is already good as is. You can make over $1 million a year in a mid-sized city with 1 million or more people in the US just with this done right. You can double, triple what you're making though if you get display advertising going of some sort. Why? Because there's a lot more people looking for information on pest control than there are people searching for pest control Dallas, bird control Dallas. This is what people prefer, like I was saying before, because when somebody calls up, there's no rigmarole to get them to convert. You don't need a salesperson answering the phone. A secretary can answer the phone. The secretary doesn't have to know anything about objections. They just know how to be able to answer the phone, take an appointment. I mean, basically, an AI can do that. Literally. An AI it's advanced enough now. You can have an AI take the phone call, take the appointment, and an appointment's on your schedule without having a human interacting with that person at all. You're going to be paying more for a lead. It's going to have to be done super, super sophisticated on the front end, but that's what you got. And that's what you get when you do it right. However, you can make more with this, but your sales process is going to have to be on point. You can't have a secretary answer the phone who doesn't know how to build rapport with the user. They need an actual salesperson, not a secretary. What is this? This is YouTube and also info terms on Google. So I'm going to first start with the YouTube stuff. The magic of YouTube, which your competitors basically are going to do it because they like to follow everybody else, and because everyone else doesn't do it, they don't do it. If you want to be ahead of the curve, if you want to be like on Google Ads in 2005, start doing this stuff now, because that's what YouTube stuff is. Everybody who has a question about pest control are either going to go to Google search or YouTube to get an answer to it. And you know, if they have money and they have a pest control problem and they're looking for information on it, you could sell to them, or at least a good salesperson can. That's all you need. So all you're going to do is you're going to flag them down with information that they already want. You have a salesperson, hand that off to a salesperson, and they're going to make sales, period. On YouTube, if you want the formula here, you create different campaigns for each one of these pests. So if somebody's looking for information about bed bugs, you have video ads show up with this kind of formula on it. Have you had welts on your skin? You have, and you show a picture, of course, with what bed bug bites look like. So they're like, oh yeah, I have that. You have bed bugs and they will not go away on their own. So forget about it. That last part, you don't say that, but learn how to get rid of them every time, guaranteed. You're giving them the exact information they want, and they're probably watching a video on YouTube about bed bugs, but it's not so hard hitting. You're not getting directly to the point. And they like to hear the word guarantee. That's just the magic word that really gets them to open up. We know because we tested this. Of which you market an ebook. The call to action is download this ebook. It has it. And in 15 minutes, you'll learn how to do this. You direct them to the ebook landing page. They download it. You're going to pay about $25 a sign up for the ebook, which you may say, well, that's a lot just for somebody to download an ebook. It is if you don't have a super high-powered salesperson on the other end taking these leads and working them to death. You call them up within 5 minutes of them downloading it. Yes, presumably they were looking for this because they wanted to figure out how to do it on their own. But if you target people that are higher income, top 20% of income demographic in your area, which you can easily do with Google Ads and YouTube Ads, which YouTube Ads is done through Google Ads, by the way, then they have the money to hire you. And then it's just a matter of, can that salesperson convince them, okay, yeah, you can use our kit that we ultimately can give you that you need, the ebook mentioned there, or we can just come out here and you just do it the full way, and we can get out this afternoon and do it. A good salesperson can build rapport with that person over the first few minutes of talking to them and convince them to do it. At least at 8% of the time, because you know they have the need, they have the money. Can your salesperson now just convince them to just hire you? You could say, hey, you could do a kit here that we told you to put together, buy products from the store, go through the process. You know, it'll take an afternoon to do it, or you could just have us come out and we'll do it. You don't have to do anything. You may say, well, why would they want to spend $1,500 when they were thinking about doing it themselves, and in an afternoon they could do it when they could save themselves $1,000? Higher income people don't really want to do all this crap. They've got plenty of money. You can't think like somebody who has a $250,000 income thinks, potentially, when you don't have it, or maybe you do have it, but you know, anybody who has a ton of money, time is money. All you got to do is inspire confidence, because, and you may say, well, if they wanted a pest control company, why didn't they just go to Google and search for one? Why are they looking for information? That's a good point. A lot of them aren't going to hire you. But the point is, you don't have to have them all hire you for it to be profitable. You literally just got to get like 10% of them to hire you, and you start out the call. It's not a hard sell. Say, hey, thank you for downloading that content, Jared. This is a really effective method. We had a bunch of people use it. It is highly effective. What kind of bed bug problem do you actually have? Is it your kids' beds, your bed? Is it, you have more than one bed with the problem? You let them start talking. They start talking, tell you about the problem, because of course they want to talk to somebody about it. It's embarrassing. They don't have anybody to talk to about it. They start talking. You're like, oh, and then you just start playing and you ask them more questions, follow-up questions. After talking to them for 5 or 10 minutes already, they now feel like they know you and trust you. They've already read your content. You've given them something, so now they feel like they owe you something on top of it. And then you can start saying, okay, well, this is all I do is deal with bed bug problems. I've seen it a lot. I just want to let you know that this weekend we have a special going on. We have a few guys available. We could come out and do it today if you want, instead of going through all this rigmarole of doing it. If you don't want to do it, I understand. But you do it this weekend. Our normal price is $3,200. We'll come out for $1,750 and get it handled and taken care of today. Like maybe you say, oh, I don't know. If I talk to my husband, blah, 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 blah. And then some of them are going to do it. Then what you do is you follow them up. They say that, you follow them up tomorrow, and then the next day, and then a few days later. And then half of what you get is just going to be through the follow-up, because they're not ready to buy right then when they were looking for information. That's the reality of it. Half of them would buy right away. We got 8% of people with the client that I was working with on these type of leads. As long as you call them within 5 minutes and you got a really good salesperson. Do you have a good salesperson who is a closer? Because a good salesperson is going to love the absolute shit out of these type of leads as much as you think that they're not strong leads or they're weak or whatever. Because a good salesperson already knows, you just put somebody who has a need in front of me, I can close them. It's just like going to a car lot. When somebody go to a car lot, how many people you think that go there are just looking around, end up buying something? More than you think. It's like 20%. Because even though they don't think they're going to buy something, they're there, they're interested in a car. That's the bottom line. Salespeople can already work with that. That's something to consider. Now, that is your YouTube formula. So what you got to do, you run what are called in-stream ads and in-feed ads. You have your ad there show up on other videos about bed bugs. While they're watching it, that video will play, interrupt you while they're watching it. You don't get any better placement than that. You also, when somebody searches for how to get rid of bed bugs on the search bar, the search results on YouTube, you also show up there. That is in-feed ads. You want to show up in both places. They're both excellent. In addition to that, you could also run ads on Google search that are relevant because like I said before, they have a bug problem, for instance. They're going to either search on Google search or YouTube to find information and an answer about it, what to do. Whether it's going to be hiring somebody, can you do it yourself? Can you not do it yourself? Whatever. People do research before they just pick up the phone and hire somebody often. Not all the time, but often. So in that case, what you do is you target keywords on Google search like how to get rid of bed bugs, stuff like that. And then you have an ad, and you just rip off my formula here. How to get rid of bed bugs every time guaranteed. You don't say it exactly like that because it doesn't fit in the headline exactly like that. That's the general premise of what you run. Then you drive them to what we call a advertorial. So this is what looks like a news article that they're going to stumble upon. You put together a little mini site that looks like a news website basically, and you have a page on there or an article on there that talks about how people have found a very easy way to get rid of bed bugs. They read that article. The article in and itself, within the article, pitches some magic formula that people are using, and then that links to a web page with the ebook on there that explains the formula. So it's the same ebook that you use up here, but in this case you use an advertorial. The reason why this works so well is because off of a Google search, we find basically we can monetize those users better, sending them to what looks like a news article than we can send them directly to an ebook. Whereas you can make some money sending them directly to the ebook, but it works a hell of a lot better, 2 or 3 times better, sending them to the article, even though it's an extra step they have to go through. Because when they get to the article, they don't have their guard up. And then once they get to the ebook landing page, they already feel like it's a recommended ebook. So they're basically going to convert 50% of the time when they get to the ebook landing page. Whereas if you were to send them to the ebook landing page directly, they're only going to convert like 5-10%. That's why it works. Now, that is what you do as well. You're going to be paying more for a lead here than on YouTube, but the quality of the leads, as we found, are a lot better. So whereas we were paying about $65 a sign up on our ebook, we're closing about 17%. So over double the closing rate on the YouTube leads itself. By the way, the other reason why that you send them to an advertorial is the closing rate on the leads is actually better because I think it's a recommended piece of material and company because the news said it. You get less of them, but they're better quality. So anyway, you may say $65 a sign up. That's a hell of a lot more than in terms of the lower closing rate also that I get than this bed bugs is $75 a lead because on the bed bug leads from Google search ads, if you have a good salesperson, you can easily close 30% of those. So the ROI is not as good. Yes, you're right, but the volume is here. You get a lot of extra volume here. I would still do the buying keywords here first. Take your money that you're making once you eventually get over the hump of getting proven by Google, then reinvest part of your profit or all of it into this, knowing that it's going to take some finessing to get it just right in terms of the sales process, the script, how exactly to handle the phone call when you call them, that kind of thing. But then once you get it in, oh, boom, your business just starts flying. And why? Because every person that's going online to do anything about pest control at all, you're there. You're everywhere. I can tell you from experience, not only is this direct and profitable, but you scale this up, you're going to get a lot more brand searches because people will read the content, they won't buy later on. When they do buy, they're going to buy from you. You now have brand recognition. So even when they search for bed bug removal Dallas, when they see which ads pop up, yours is going to stand out and be the one they click on because you've got name recognition now. You, of course, got referrals and all this other stuff that's going to help subsidize the cost of these leads. But directly, this is profitable here. So you may pay $300 or $400 for a client from what we're talking about here and may only be able to sell it for a couple of grand. Therefore, you're going to be paying 15-20% of your sales price in terms of marketing cost, but you also get organic rankings because you're running a bunch of traffic at your site that you wouldn't have got otherwise because because you're viewed as a more of an authority to Google now over time. You got the referrals, you can do upselling, cross-selling, all this stuff, which brings your cost of acquiring a client down. I do this type of thing in a lot of different markets. A lot of people don't like this, they want this. They want, what's that magic trick to do this? And then I tell them this, how to win at this, and then they don't want this anymore either. And what they really want is, what can I do to make money right away? And I don't need a good salesperson. They just buy right away. And there's no magic formula for that. Unless you're going to get a referral from somebody, like find another company that can send you referrals. And then you can do that. So do you want that? Start calling businesses. That's probably the best way to go about doing it. But the real money is in having an online engine that churns out leads like this all day and all night long. Qualified ones, or mostly qualified. You got people that have a real need just coming to you, and all you got to do is just say the right things and you got them. The details on this that you need to really drill this in for yourself, it's on this channel. I go over them in detail on this channel all the time. Subscribe to this channel and I'll go over all of it. How to set up the right landing pages with the right structure. I didn't talk about tracking. Tracking is a big part of getting this to work, including tracking every sale, every dollar of revenue you get, passing that back to the ad account in Google so they can optimize for sales, given that, you know, you won't make money right away, but if every sale you get gets you closer to profitability because Google studies that data and gets you more results. Anyway, all these details you need to know, I got it on this channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. You should watch it because I got 20 years of experience doing this, and also experience, of course, in the pest control space. I speak about it time to time. Subscribe. Also, I got a great blog on my site at guaranteedppc.com/blog where you can find step-by-step information on how to make money with ads there as well from myself, with screenshots, with everything you need to use to make these ads work and these strategies work that I have that we use to guarantee results for our clients. Beyond this, if you have any questions about anything I've covered here today or any marketing related question, you can always leave me a comment in the comment section below. I get back to most people within 24 hours. You can ask me any question you'd like there. You can also reach out to me through the Discord that I operate and run as well. My link to my Discord group is in the video description. You can also reach out to me through my site if you want a private call. We set that up, coaching and consulting. I also do done for you services. So if you wanted all this set up for yourself, you pay me, I'll make sure you get a certain result on your campaign up front. No management fees until we do. Or you could buy the template from us. I literally could sell you the winning ads, landing pages, all of it. You install it in your account and get the same results we did. Of course, if we don't sell it for a box of peanuts here, because if everybody started using it, there'd be no point. The magic is in doing something the other competitors can't do, which is, by the way, why these PPC or these pest control PPC management companies are a joke. Because if you hired the same firm that your competitor hired, you would just not make any money because there's only one best way to do it, so to say. So yes, maybe if they haven't worked with any companies in your area, that'd be fine. Maybe they do today, but tomorrow, maybe they have your bigger competitor come to them and they're going to push you out of the way because that only makes mathematical, financial sense for them. So anyway, we sell the template. If you want the template, we can tell you the results you're going to get with it up front in your geographic area. Given the competition is going to change a little bit what's going on, I will tell you that up front and what we charge for the template. If you want that, you can let me know. Beyond that, so whether you do it yourself, you have our template, we do it completely for you. Bottom line is, this stuff is proven. I've proven it works. I've given you the formula. Yes, it's a ton of work technically to get it working, which is why you may just want to hire this out. But this is what your consumers in your market want from you. This is the key thing. Business owners, it frustrates me all the time. What they want is easy mode. What can I do that's easy, that's going to bring in revenue? What the consumer wants is, I don't want to sign on the dotted line with the company, and I don't know anything about them. And a lot of times I want information before I buy. If you guys are both like this and you don't want to come halfway in the middle with each other, then you're not going to get the sales. I mean, bottom line, consumers today expect information. And the people who understand that information is going to be the key way to become the brand in your market, those people are going to be the ones that excel. People that are stubborn, they don't want to do it, are they going to be the ones that fall behind? Because every year, tell you from experience here, people expect content from the companies that they're buying from. If they don't see any, they go to your Facebook and there's nothing there, or it's cheesy bullshit, or they go to your YouTube and there's nothing there. They don't trust you, and it's only going to get worse over time. So you can do this now and enjoy all the fruits from it now when nobody else is doing it. Or you could wait 5 or 10 years and everybody's going to practically have to have done this anyway. It's getting like this every year. It's just like going back to 2000 saying, oh, do I really need a website? Do I really need a website? And you could have had the website and sold your business by 2007 if you would have just jumped on it before everybody else was jumping onto it already. This is the same thing as that, practically speaking. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up with that. Thank you very much for watching. See you on the next one. If you want to see another video, click here. It is one of my best ones.